Hello everyone. Through this video we'll discuss the usage of interface keyword in Java. I'll suggest everyone to before going to the video of interface you should watch the video of abstract class because this is completely related to the concept of abstract class and abstract method. Okay. So before going to the depth of the subject, let's discuss first why interface is required. Let me give you the same example that I have given in the video of abstract class. Okay. So one student whose name is suppose ABC wants to do a project on smart home. Okay. And ABC has given one idea that if my home needs to be smart, it needs to be beautiful, it needs to talk with me, it can move, and it can disappear. So if all these four properties will be available, then I'll tell one home can be smart. Okay. Now ABC has tried a lot to implement the concept of beautiful, talk, movement, and disappear. Okay. But ABC is unable to define one of the method related to four of the concepts. Okay. So finally, ABC has submitted the thesis with only the idea that this can be done, but ABC is unable to define any of the solution that how to make it beautiful, how to make it talk, how to make it move, how to make it disappear. Okay. Now what I'll do, this is a new idea, so ABC has given. Now finally in the next year, one more student has come XYZ, okay, which will implement or give the body for all four concepts. Okay. So that means if previously whatever I am declaring as class, now I'll declare that one as interface. Why? Because I don't have anything to define for my method. Okay. So that means anything like class is having multiple methods or one method or more than one method without body. Body is not there. Okay. Then you can declare that one as interface. Okay. So let me tell you the difference between abstract class and interface. Okay. So we have written this example in abstract class. While implementing abstract class, you can check that here the class ABC is present, which is having three abstract methods because ABC doesn't have anything to define for movement, for talk and disappear. But ABC has capability or it has defined the beautiful method. Okay. Along with the methods, the class ABC is also having constructor. Okay. So as my class is having abstract method, so I am declaring the class as abstract. Okay. Now what we have done, one more student XYZ has come, clear, and has extended the concept of ABC. Okay. And XYZ has tried to implement all the methods. Done. So XYZ has given the details for movement, XYZ has given the details for talk, XYZ has given the details for disappear. So due to the child class XYZ, now parent class method is also available to the child class. I am creating the object of child class and then implementing or calling the methods. This is what we are doing in abstract class. Okay. But in interface, this definition is also not allowed. That means if my class ABC doesn't have body for beautiful method also, what I'll do, I'll make it abstract. Yes or no? So that means let me define with a new example. So we'll take the help of the same example. Suppose class ABC, okay, and it is having all the abstract methods. Clear? Along with that, ABC doesn't have body for beautiful method also. Clear? So now the concept will come. If all the methods of a class are abstract, clear? Then don't declare that one as class, declare that one as interface. Clear? This is the basic difference between abstract class and interface. In abstract class, we can have abstract method, also non-abstract method, also constructor. Okay, but in interface we can have only abstract methods. Clear? Okay, now what I'll keep only by keeping the abstract method. Now ABC as a student has given the idea that for smart home project, if I will provide this many number of features, my home will become smart. But ABC doesn't know how to define that, or didn't get any solution how to define that. Clear? Okay, so now one more class will come, which is your XYZ. Here we'll use the keyword implements. Okay, for class you'll use the keyword XYZ, but for interface you'll write down implements. Okay, implements what? The interface. Okay, and what actually XYZ will do, what I am doing here, the same thing I'll do here. Okay, along with I have to provide the body for beautiful method. Clear? Okay, understood? Okay, so the difference between abstract class, once again, abstract class can contain abstract methods, non-abstract methods, constructor. Any child class which will extend the abstract class will override the methods or redefine the methods or provide body to the methods. Clear? So the rest of the abstract methods needs to be redefined in the child class. Okay, but the method whatever you have defined in the parent abstract class will automatically come to the child class. But in interface, you have to declare all the methods as abstract. Clear? You cannot declare or you cannot define any non-abstract method inside interface. Clear? Okay, and you have to redefine everything inside the class which will implement the interface. Okay, now again the same thing, I'm copying the same program because you need to understand the difference between interface and abstract class. Okay, so you are creating this for which class? XYZ class, everything is available. So I'm creating the object of XYZ class and calling all the methods. Okay, so the basic concept of interface is only used to provide the format. Okay, and that format needs to be followed by the class which will implement the interface. Okay, now see, all the methods are abstract here and every method is redefined inside the class. So I have to create the object of the class to access the methods. Okay, so let's compile and execute so that you will understand what we are doing here. Read the errors. Beautiful in XYZ cannot implement beautiful in ABC. Why? Because there is a concept in interface that if you are declaring any method, what is the access modifier here? Default. If I am not mentioning anything, then default is the access modifier. What I have told, that any class which will implement the interface have to override the methods. Overriding means what? The signature should be same in the child class. But here, if I am not providing, it should be default. But this is actually originally public in interface. Okay, so that means by default, if you are writing public or if you are not writing, the default access modifier is public in interface. Okay, so if I'm not writing anything here, by default this is public, this is also public, this is also public. But whenever I'm overriding in the class, I'm not writing anything, that is by default is the access specifier. So that's why the mismatch is occurring. Okay, so this is a very important point. Whenever you are implementing any interface in class, you have to override the methods, and remember, you have to write public here. Okay, if you will not write public here, then this overriding is not allowed. Clear? Because by default the methods of interface is public. Clear? Let's check. See, there is no error. Yes, I'm getting the output. Okay, so this is the simple difference between abstract class and interface. Okay, now coming to some more concept. As all the methods are abstract inside interface, so if you are not writing abstract, then by default this is treated as abstract. Okay, so abstract keyword is not compulsory to declare the methods. If you are declaring any method inside interface, that is by default treated as abstract method. Clear? Default is abstract. Okay, now let's check. Yes, we don't get any output. Now we are getting the output. Okay, now this is for methods inside the interface. Let me write down some variables. Integer number equal to number 1 equal to 20. Clear? So as the class is implementing the interface, let me print the value. Okay, done. Yes, I can access the value of a variable of the interface. Okay, so interface is nothing but this is completely similar to the class. Okay, so interface is nothing but it's similar to the class. Whatever you are writing inside the class, same thing you can do inside the interface. The difference between class and interface is like inside class you can define the method, but inside interface you cannot define the method. You can declare the variable, you can initialize inside the interface, that also you can do inside class. Okay, but let me tell you one more difference. Okay, so if I can access the value, then I will modify the value. Okay, so if I am modifying the content of the variable of the interface, now what is happening? Say, cannot assign a value to final variable. Okay, we know the concept of final variable. If you don't know what is final keyword, then you can watch the video where I have discussed different concept of final keyword. Okay, so in interface the variable is by default public, static and final. Okay, so as it is a final variable, I cannot modify the content. Clear? Cannot modify the value of number 1 as it is final. Okay, so all the variables which is declared inside interface are by default public, static and final. Clear? So I can access the value inside the class where I'm implementing the interface, but I cannot modify the content. Clear? Okay, so let's check. Now we are not getting any error and I'm getting the output. Okay. Okay, now one more example of abstract class. Okay, so what we have discussed in abstract class, that ABC class is keeping 3 methods as abstract. Now XYZ is able to implement 2 methods but unable to implement disappear method inside class XYZ. Okay, so that means as it is extending the abstract class, this is also coming and becoming again abstract inside the class XYZ. So that's why we are declaring class XYZ as abstract. Okay, and then what we are doing, we are taking the help of one more child class, that is your PQR, which is extending the XYZ class and giving the body for disappear. And finally, everything will be available to the PQR class, and you are creating the object of PQR. So the motto of providing this example, if any class which is inheriting the abstract class is unable to provide the body for abstract method, then the class has to be declared again with abstract keyword. And one more child class you have to define, where you have to redefine or override the abstract method. Okay, so the same concept is also applicable for interface. Okay, suppose ABC1 1 1 1. Okay, so what is the motto of this particular example? Now interface ABC1 is available with 4 different abstract methods. XYZ1 class is implementing ABC1 interface but unable to provide body for all the abstract methods. Clear? So that means XYZ1 is able to implement 3 methods and unable to implement one more method. So that method will be again abstract here. And as XYZ1 will contain an abstract method, my class needs to be declared as abstract. Okay, now what is the concept of abstract class again? Now I have to implement or define one more child class PQR1 of XYZ1, where I'll define the method. Okay, and as PQR1 is a child class of XYZ1, everything will be available to PQR1. So I'll create the object of PQR1. Clear? So this example says that if any class is implementing the interface, then the rule says that this is compulsory for that class to override all the abstract methods of the interface. Clear? If the class is unable to override all the methods, then that class needs to be declared as abstract. And one more child class needs to be extended where the rest of the method needs to be overridden. Okay, let's see. Yes, I'm getting the output right now. Okay, so this is what the overall concept of interface. Clear? So let's discuss the theoretical part. Now, why interface is actually required? Because it is used to achieve abstraction. Clear? Why abstraction? Because it only contains the behavior. Only the declaration of the methods will be there. No more body. Okay. So the class that implements all those behaviors, but interface will only provide you the declaration of the method, not the details of the method. Similarly, it supports the functionality of multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance and how it is supporting, that we will discuss in the latter part of the video. Okay. Now again you can check, interface can contain any number of methods as per the requirement. It specifies what a class must do, not how to do. Okay. Next one, after compilation, the dot class file will be generated like the class. It doesn't contain constructor because object cannot be created. This is very important point. Object of interface cannot be created. So that's why constructor is not available for interface. Done. Now what is the usage of interface? It is a collection of constants and abstract methods. We have seen through the example that interface variables are by default public, static, and final, and the methods are public and abstract. If you are not mentioning also, this is by default treated as public, static, final, and the methods as public, abstract. Okay. So a class implements an interface and doesn't provide the method. Like the last example we have seen, that XYZ class is implementing ABC interface but unable to provide the body for disappear method. Okay. Then the class must be declared as abstract. We have declared XYZ1 as abstract. Okay. So this is what the usage of interface. Clear? So if you are not mentioning also, the variables and methods will be by default treated as public, static, final for the variables, and methods as public and abstract. Okay. Now this is what the syntax we have seen, that if you are writing public, static, final, it's okay. If you are writing public, abstract, it is also okay. But if you are not mentioning, that is also okay. And by default treated as public, static, final for variables, and method as public and abstract. Okay. Now this is one of the most important concept of interface and class. Okay. Let's find the relationship between class and interface. So we have seen through inheritance chapter that one class can inherit the properties of another class. Okay. Similarly, one interface can inherit the properties of another interface, and also one interface can inherit the properties of multiple interfaces. Clear? Okay. And also when you come to the concept of class, now we have seen through the example that class can implement interface. So class can implement multiple interfaces also. Okay. So here abstract methods will be there. Here abstract methods will be there. Class implementing multiple interfaces have to redefine or override all the methods inside its body. Okay. Now here comes an important question, that as class is implementing interface, class is inheriting the properties of class, interface is inheriting the properties of interface. Can one interface inherit the properties of a class? The answer is no. Why? Because your class can contain abstract method, non-abstract method also, constructor also, static final variable also, non-final variable, non-static. Okay. So all kinds of things are available inside the class. So if we'll allow the interface to inherit the properties of class, then non-abstract method will also come to interface. Non-final variable will also come to interface. Constructor will also come to interface, which is beyond the rule of interface, which will violate the rule of interface. So that's why one interface cannot inherit the properties of a class, but one class can implement the properties of an interface. Okay, so now we'll see how the interface is extending another interface. Okay, done. So suppose interface, here one method m1 is present. Okay, interface, second interface extends first interface, and here the m2 method is present. Okay, so due to inheritance, m1 will also come to second interface as a child class. Okay, so the second interface is keeping all the methods m1 and m2, but only the declarations. Clear? So here we will define one class. Okay, we'll define the main method, and what we will do now, let me define you one more class. Okay, which will implement the second interface. Okay, so what it will do, I have to redefine the methods. So public void m1, done. Similarly, let me define m2 child interface. So it is not mandatory that the class which is implementing the interface will only override those methods. It can keep its own method also. Okay. Now we'll create the object for the class. Now ob dot m1, ob dot m2, ob dot. So yeah, let's save the file. Done. See, I'm getting the output of parent interface, getting the output of child interface as well as class method. Okay. So this is how one interface can inherit another interface. And due to inheritance, all the methods will be available to the child interface. So the class is implementing only the child interface inside the body. Okay. So this is, through this one, we will learn how to achieve multiple inheritance. But before going to multiple inheritance, let me tell you what is the meaning of multiple inheritance. So this concept of multiple inheritance is available in C++. Okay, where more than one parent class is available, and one single child class will inherit the properties of multiple parent classes. Okay, but why multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java? Because in Java, if you'll watch the video of inheritance, you'll learn that there are three different types of inheritance is available: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. Then what is the problem the Java software people have faced, so that they have removed multiple inheritance? Okay, so suppose we'll have a show method here. This is very important. Suppose one show method is available for parent class. Here, suppose with the same name, so one more method is available. Now, due to inheritance, both the show methods will be available to the child class. Okay, this is the first error will be generated, that with the same name, same signature, two methods cannot be present in a single class. Okay, this is the first problem. Second, suppose I will create the object of the child class. I'll call show method. Now it will call to the show method of parent 1 class, or it will call to the show method of parent 2 class. Now here the ambiguity will be generated. Clear? Okay. So to avoid this ambiguity, to avoid this confusion, Java software people have removed the concept of multiple inheritance from Java. Okay, but multiple inheritance was a important concept in object oriented programming, where I need to access multiple properties from different sources. Okay, so for that, what they have done, through interface we can achieve multiple inheritance. How? Now interface 1 will be here, suppose with xyz property. Interface 2 will be there with abc property. Now one class can implement more than one interface. This is allowed. Okay, so what will happen? Any class which is implementing the interfaces have to redefine all the body. So only the declarations will be available in the feature part. So you have to redefine all the methods inside the class. Okay, so by implementing multiple interfaces, you are achieving the concept of multiple inheritance in Java through interface. Okay, so this is one of the most important question in Java. Anyone can ask you how multiple inheritance can be achieved in Java. The answer is, you can implement multiple interfaces by a single class to achieve multiple inheritance. Clear? Okay, now this, why you are implementing interface while we are not extending the class? Through this example you can find the real usage of interface. Suppose one interface is available, interface 1 with property x, y. Interface 2 is also having the property of a, b. Okay, now one class is here with property p, q. Now one class, suppose multiple, which can inherit this class, because I can inherit one class, so I am allowed multiple extends one class. So PQ is coming here. Okay, and also you have given the concept of multiple inheritance. That means one class can implement more than one interfaces. So it will implement one interface, two interface. What will happen? The properties of all the interfaces will come to a single class. Okay, so by writing multiple interfaces, you are allowing the class to extend another class. Yeah, so if I am implementing interfaces, that means I have not inherited one class, so I am having a scope to inherit one class. Along with that, I can implement all the interfaces. Clear? Okay, let's write down the example so that you can understand. Let's modify the this particular example. Okay, so we are implementing multiple inheritance through interface. So here there are two interfaces. First interface, second interface. First interface is having property M1. Here it is having the property M2. I am not implementing any interface. So class is there which is having show method or one property. Okay. So class multiple inheritance extends test interface implements first interface, second interface. As it is inheriting the test interface, so show method is automatically coming here, and I need, as I am implementing the interfaces, so I have to define the body here. Okay, so I'll create the object of the child class. So let's create. Understood? One interface is here, so let's change the names. Okay, so we are having two interfaces. We are having a class. One child class is inheriting the parent class, as well as it is implementing multiple number of interfaces. So through this, I am achieving or I am accessing the properties of more than one parent class. Okay, through interface. Done. So you are achieving multiple inheritance through interface. Let's check. Done. Yes, I am getting the output. Okay. So these are various methods how to implement the concept of interface. Okay. Now let's finally overview the difference between abstract class and interface. Okay. So as per our discussion, abstract class can have abstract as well as non-abstract methods. Clear? But interface will only have abstract methods. Abstract class can have final, non-final, static, non-static, different kinds of variables. But interface will only contain static and final variables. Okay. Abstract class provides the implementation of interface. So class can implement the interface, but interface never provides the implementation for class because interface cannot implement. Okay. Abstract class, the keyword abstract is used. Very simple. For interface, obviously the keyword interface is used. Okay. Now, abstract class can extend another Java class and implements multiple Java interfaces. Interface extends another Java interface only. It cannot do anything. It cannot inherit one class because you have discussed why it cannot inherit. Okay. The interface can only extend another interface. Okay. Now, abstract class can be extended using the keyword extends because of inheritance. But here, the keyword you have to use implements. Yeah. It contains members like private, protected, default, everything. But interface will only contain public members. Abstract class doesn't support multiple inheritance. This is very important point. But interface supports multiple inheritance, for which we are studying actually interface. Clear? Okay. So through this video, you can find all the different usage of interface and how it is different from abstract class, where to use the multiple inheritance, means how to achieve multiple inheritance through interface. Okay. Everything has been discussed with example. Clear? So thank you everyone for watching this.